Alright, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Riverton. Welcome back to WIT Simulations. Well, not really back. Welcome to the new WIT Simulations. Hello everybody, my name is Chris. If you didn't already know, I also go by Mr. Malco. There's all kinds of different things that I do nowadays, so honestly, well, I'm already going to go ahead and answer some questions that I know that's already popping back up in some of your guys' heads. What made you come back? Well, honestly, I've been playing around with TRS 2019 for quite some time now, like on and off whenever I just get the feeling that I want to play it, and I've just been playing it. And I've been really getting into the build that I've been doing as a remastered Riverton. Or it's not really remastered because I basically went through and deleted everything and just redone everything. It's a renew at a completely different scale. Everything's more to a realistic scale. I'm going by how many miles that I can do so far. I've gotten like 35 miles done, and I'm not even to the city of Riverton yet. I've just been going from Little Rock and then going east. So, like, if you guys remember when the original Riverton, what it was, like you guys saw in the promo video that I made. Thank you all so much for the reception on that. Greatly appreciate you guys. Thank you all so much for the warm welcome. But I got all kinds of different things planned. But people's already asking me, would you be willing to do this so-and-so route to so-and-so place? Guys, I'm going to do what I want to do. And the Riverton is one of those things that I want to do. The new WIT Simulations, I'm not going to sit here and try to put out a video every single week. I'm not going to sit here and try to put out content that I don't like. I want content that that I would enjoy. Content that I'm made here. Honestly. This is a long video, and I do apologize that it's a long video. I didn't mean to get so into this build like I did. See, it was like a Friday night, and when I recorded this, and I had nothing else happening at the time. The people that I was playing some games with, they all got offline, and I didn't. I wasn't streaming. I don't stream on Fridays, but like, I just popped on the game and started recording and just went. And this is one of the areas that I went ahead and done, because from now on, you guys will never see the terraforming on stream, or not on stream, sorry, on camera. But we might have some special streams where we get areas ready for the next episode. But that'd be all due in time later on. And I'm also coming up with a whole new thing for the Riverton, like a whole new story for it, giving it more of a character. It's no longer the whole BCI, the Black Hawk Central Iowa stuff. It's all CSX. This is all going to be CSX. It's CSX Class 1. I mean, hell, unless you could also throw Norfolk Southern in there, it wouldn't be that too out of place. But you'd have to replace the speed boards, because I use CSX speed boards. I use a lot of the stuff that you can find on rrmods.com. I'll link some of the stuff if you guys want me to. I'll link some of the stuff that I use in this video in particular. Just let me know in some comments down below if you guys want some more things like updated, like if you guys would like me to share some of the content bases that I use. I actually use a lot of Approach Medium's content that came out on his website, a bunch of his buildings, his industrial buildings, and his suburban houses, but I never really built a suburban. See, what this area is, I've been sitting here rambling for 4.5 minutes now, and I haven't even told you what we're even building today. But this area here, obviously I'm building a coal mine right now, but what I'm building is the Cornettsville Branchline. In the original Riverton, the Cornettsville Branchline went across the Cornet Lake, and completely, it was so weird in its design. It was a weird layout, because if you just hopped across one hill, right there was the main city, and it was just so weird placement, because obviously my terraforming was atrocious back then. I still think my terraforming is pretty bad, but I have something that I like. I enjoy how it all comes out here, and I'm going to be working on this mine a little bit more off camera, because this mine, like, I wanted to make it look like that coal trucks into this place, and they dump the coal, and then it goes up into these where they sort it, where like it could either, it comes in from a wash plant, either it's got high sulfur, it's good to go, or low sulfur or something like that. There's weird ways of how they do stacking with that. If you guys know more about that, then please leave a comment down below and let me know. But like basically I wanted to, like, there's another mine that the trucks go to, like a deep mine, or like a strip job, if it's like some like to say. If there's a mine that these trucks drive to, that's where they get their loads, and they bring the loads here to this tipple, and the tipple is what obviously loads the trains. So like it's one of those operations where everything is trucked in. There isn't actually anything being mined here. It's all just trucked in, sorted, and then loaded onto the train. But we're building the Cornettsville branch, and like I said, this is a long video because I got sucked into this build. I got really into it, and I just went through my whole process of what I've been doing and how I've been making things. And like, I don't know, like I said, I just got really sucked into the build. Like, you know, if you are enjoying something really good like that, and you just get really sucked in, and time just passes by. That was honestly me during this build. Sometimes you'll see me pause because I'll take looks at like different things on how I want things to be laid out, and how I want where I want things to be placed. I take a look at different pictures and stuff of some of these holler roads and these holler branch lines, or as people all around the world like to call them, hollows. But around here in the you know, with the southern twang, we call them hollers. So this is more or less like one of those hollers where the highway follows the rail line to specifically really close in some spaces. And there's places like this, like near where I live, like not even like 2 or 3 miles away. I know of a few spots that where the tracks almost are on top of the highway, and it's just really weird placements of everything, and everything feels smushed in between 2 different hillsides, and that's what I wanted to go with here on the Cornettsville, or on the Cornettsville branch. And like the city at the beginning that you saw at the very beginning when it done the when rolled my intro credits there, like basically that is all of Cornettsville, which Cornettsville is going to be extended a little bit more. I just haven't gotten any more to it yet. I wanted to do the branch line first before I continue any more on the main line. And so far, from Cornettsville to Little Rock, straight like on the tracks, through everything that we built, or that I built so far, it's about 20 miles worth of main line running, and then you got about 10 to 15 miles worth of branch line running that I've already completed, because I've completed the I actually done the Beaver Creek branch in Little Rock. I done that on a separate stream. I think it was the one that I popped in just a little bit of a catch up when it was like the first 6 months that I was gone or something like that. But like, there's so much to talk about, really. There's so much to really ramble about, so I hope you guys don't mind me rambling for a few minutes. I'll stop talking here, and I'll let you guys just jam out and watch the build go on, and I'll pop in some spots. But there's a few different things that stand out, and some of those things that so yeah, I took a pause there because I was taking a look at what I wanted to put down, and I was taking a look at some of the pictures, so I do apologize about the pause. But either way, what I've been doing ever since I left, and the reason that I left, because I got so burnt out on the whole thing. For those that don't know, when I originally left WIT Simulations alone, and I shut down the website, I shut down the YouTube channel. Well, I didn't really shut it down, I just left it up, but like, I didn't do anything on it. Like, I just completely I just ghosted. But the reason being is because I just got really burnt out on it. Because every week I was forcing myself to play it. It didn't feel like this. It didn't feel like something that I enjoyed doing. It just felt like another job, and I hated it. The Conway made me hate Trainz, and which is why I'll probably never touch that route ever again. The Riverton, though, just, you know, I don't know, it brings me back home. It brings me to what I've been feeling. And like, again, I've been working on the Riverton. I've only got like 20 miles, but I've been working on it for like 9 months on and off. But it took me a while to actually even turn Trainz back on after the Riverton. But then once I turned Trainz back on, I got the Trainz Plus and I got all that fun jazz, because I really like the things that come with Trainz Plus, especially the whole walking mode thing. It really gives me a bunch of different camera views, and sometimes I like to have a night where I just, it sounds weird, but I like to roleplay. I have no one really to roleplay with, but I roleplay with my, like, I put on some like radio chatter, and I just get sucked into the game, and I'm just driving, and I'm just playing on the route. But I wasn't playing on the Riverton. I was more or less playing a lot on a remastered EK that I done for Trainz 2019. But either way, I've just been having so much fun with this build, and with what I've been doing here. And the reason that the roads are being really weird and wonky is because I was also downloading some assets while I was in the game, so everything kind of went a little funky there for a little while. But as you can see, I used some of I was tired of using. I didn't want to use a bunch of the same houses and stuff like that, so I went on to some different websites to take a look at a lot of different things, which is another reason why I paused a little bit. I found that I didn't know that Approach Medium actually put out a bunch of his products and stuff on his website. So if you guys, I mean, hell, you know who he is. You can just look his website up. He has a bunch of great little assets and stuff that you could use. RR Mods has a bunch of fantastic assets as well that I used in this build as well, like such as the CSX signage, and more or less the whistle posts, everything. You can rotate them. You can, obviously you can rotate everything, but you can also twist. You can twist some things, and with the CSX signage, it honestly brings a whole different look to it, and it looks more authentic, and I love it. I love every bit of it. And right here, I wanted to throw something that kind of reminded me of something like over in the Ravenna area. There's a lot of tobacco farms. There's a lot of abandoned tobacco farms as well. And like in this area, I wanted. We'll come back to this area later, but I throw down like a tobacco barn, and like behind it is where the whole field used to be, and I made that field like be completely grown up and everything, and like it's just, I don't know, it really felt really cool, and like it kind of reminded me of where my grandparents live, because they own an old tobacco farm, and it's kind of that same aspect, like the barn. And you got a bunch of the old stuff that nobody used anymore. I don't know. I was just going through assets, and I was just looking through a lot of different things, and I saw that the tobacco farm, or a tobacco barn rather, there it is, and I was like, I gotta put this over here somewhere, and it was really wonky, so I had to do some terrain editing here to get it to really fit in. But like, I don't know, I just came up with the idea that make it look like maybe the place was used as a tobacco farm a long time ago, but the barn still stands, but it's not really used for that purpose anymore. It's just there. It's just a derelict at that point. But like, I don't know. It's just, the Riverton has become one of those builds that I get severely sucked into. And when I mean, like, every road has its own number, because I use a programmable US road sign that I think you can find off the download station, and you can go through everything. You can put it to different states, and I use, obviously, Riverton is based in Kentucky, so I use Kentucky road signs, and every road is assigned. Every road has all of its normal signs. Every house has a driveway, every house has a mailbox, everything, there's little things that I've thrown everywhere. I get really into the Riverton build like I've never gotten into a build before, and which is one of the reasons why I wanted to come back and share the experience with you guys. And if I ever get to a point to where I feel like, alright, this is completed, I am happy with this, then maybe I will do some things to where I can make it go onto the download station, because, Jointed Rail uses a lot of assets, and a lot of their assets are on the download station. So it wouldn't be too difficult. I would just have to replace all the RR Mods assets and the TBS assets, and use some assets that look decent enough to throw on a download station, because there's a lot of websites that's just not there anymore, such as the Backshops and the stuff that Logan and stuff made. I think a few of his assets are on a different website now. I'm not really 100% sure on what website that is, so do not quote me on that. But I really don't know where they're at. And see, I don't know. The Riverton has just become one of those builds that I've just been really enjoying, and I've been enjoying every single minute, every single second, every single thing, every single little detail that I've thrown in. I've even thrown in details in places where you don't even have to be there unless you just go up there and like you're curious. It's like, oh, I wonder what's up here, and you find it. If you follow like dead trackage, because I made it, you'll see it later on, because I literally do the entire branch line. Everything is like, I go full ham on detail in this episode. There's some things that I did off camera that you guys will not point out on the that you guys will see. Some of the things you might point out in the cinematics at the very end, but it's just been one of those builds that I've just really enjoyed. And I know that I said that I was going to shut up, and I have just been rambling for the last 15 minutes, but it's honestly the truth. Like, I disappeared. Like, let's go back to me. Like, let's see how long I can ramble and talk while you guys are watching this, and you guys can probably get a story and an idea of what's going on. So here's story time with Mr. Mako, or sorry, story time with WIT Simulations. That's one of the things that I wanted to talk about as well. Like, I went to Twitch. I do Twitch. I have almost 6.4 thousand followers over there. I do a lot of VR chat stuff. I do wrestling on Sundays. I never do anything Trainz related, though, on my Twitch channel. My Twitch channel is something that I can really just express and just do what I want, have fun with it, and just play around with whatever I want. And WIT Simulations is something where I can focus the Trainz builds on. And, see, right here's the very end. I just wanted to throw in some things, throw in some minor details. But I'm still get everything edited to that point, and there's some things that I also done in that same area at the very back, off camera. But it's just really fun. But either way, I've been doing Mr. Mako over there since literally the weekend after I left WIT Simulations the first time in 2019, and it's been a wild ride over there. I have so much people that support me and that has been helping me out, and it's absolutely insane of how much support that those guys have been giving me, and how much that I can do now because of those guys. I have a much faster system now compared to what I did when I left, because when I left I was just sporting a 1070 Ti, and I think I had a i7 or an i5, but now I am running an AMD processor. I'm running AMD Ryzen 7 3700X 8-core processor, and an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2070 Super. And all that was thanks to the people that support me over there on my Twitch channel, and I really cannot thank those guys enough. And I have fun with things, guys. Like, people want to say that I'm a furry, and I won't disagree with you. I won't disagree with it, because in all technicality, yeah, I guess I'm more of a weeb than I am a furry, but I still enjoy what I do, and that's just one of those things that I try. One of those messages that I try to put out towards everybody. Don't be afraid to not do the things that you don't like to do, or don't be afraid of doing the things that you like to do, and don't focus on things that you don't like doing, but focus on things that you yourself enjoy. And that's kind of one of those things, one of those messages that I try to spread over there, and I enjoy myself over there. I have fun. I've been having loads of fun with it. And if you guys want to if it ever interests you to come hang out, I do a rock show every Saturday night. Well, Sunday mornings. It's Saturday night for some, but it's mostly Sunday morning, starting at 1 in the morning Eastern Standard Time, all the way to like 7 o'clock. We do all kinds of stuff. We do some rock and roll. We do some classic rock. We have fun with it, you know. And if anybody wants to come over there and hang out, listen to some rock and roll with us, then, you know, you're more than welcome. I'll throw a link in the description below if you guys want to check it out. But honestly, that's just one of the things that I've been doing. And whenever I'm not doing it over there, because I don't want to burn myself out on that, I only stream over there 4 days a week. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. Or, if you want to be technical, Sunday and a quarter of Monday morning after midnight. But it is Sunday night. Whatever. So, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I also do a podcast that's also anywhere that you can find your podcast. We talk about stuff that's we talk about all kinds of different stuff, ranging from SCPs to serial killers to dumb stuff that's happening in Brisbane, Australia. It's a bunch of dumb things, but it's also something that I enjoy with a bunch of friends of mine. You can find it. There's another YouTube for it. It's called The Rabbit Hole. It's also on Spotify or anywhere you find your podcast. Really, if you want to check it out, check it. We have fun. There's a lot of explicit language. I am not going to lie to you. Either on my Twitch channel or over here or on the podcast, there is a lot of explicit content. Not explicit content. Not NSFW stuff, but like explicit language rather. Not nothing too bad or too dirty or anything like that. It's just, you know, language. Not normal stuff that I'm trying to be professional like I am now. See, right now, guys, we're going around and let me go back to the build for a second here. When I do the mountains and stuff, I like to do a base first. And when I do the base, that's basically putting down all the background trees and stuff to areas that I'm not going to super detail. And then I do this to all the whole areas that I believe that I'm not, you know, like I just said, not going to super detail. And that's what I'm doing with these mountains here. I'm just putting down all the trees and stuff, all the things that make it really stand out, bringing everything to life, getting rid of the grid. And I don't overdo it because I'm using every single thing on there is STRMM. And when I release it, I probably have to dumb down the trees. On the download station, I probably use TV stuff or something that looks decent. That is also Billboard, that also looks decent in TRS-19. Because there's a lot of weird things that's Billboard that does not look decent in TRS-19. STRM looks fantastic in TRS 2019. But there's also a lot of things that I don't detail. Like whenever I go over the view line of the mountains, everything behind that, I do not even put down anything because there's no point. You don't see it from the tracks. I try to focus on things that you can physically see from the standpoint of where you're going to be on the railroad. I don't want to do a bunch of things that's really not necessary to really detail. I don't want to detail mountains and mountains and mountains and mountains. And yes, this is a call out to Trainz, to the Auroran team for their what is that one route that's the Mountaineer, where the CP and stuff like that. Yeah, the Canadian Mountaineer or something like that. The Rocky Mountaineer. That's what it is. That is so heavily detailed. It's unreal that 1070 couldn't barely run it when it was at medium detail. So I don't know. It's just okay. It was one of those ones like, oh my god, this is way too much. But like, see, I don't want to do that. I want to do areas that you can physically see from the railroad. Stuff that you're going to see from the railroad. And like after this area here, after I place down this backdrop, there's nothing else that's going to be put back there. So, you know, it's just like backdrop, end of trackage, right? Which I even made it to where you don't even have to go that far. But if people wanted to go out that far, there's some nice little hidden Easter eggs and stuff like that. But like, back to what I was saying. See, now I'm going. When I come back, because I don't know why I've completely. Oh yeah, I was looking at more pictures and stuff, and I was downloading some more assets. So it actually stays like this for quite a little bit. But anyway, we'll get back to it. See, going back to it now. See, now I'm putting down the grass, and I'm putting down the Turfex grass. I have a nice little blend of the Turfex grass that I put, and I usually only put it around the tracks and around areas that I like to super detail. I don't want to put it everywhere, because if you have a lot of it in a jumbled up spot, it tends to lag out even with a 2070 Super. And see, I'll come back to the grass, but right now I'm putting down my base texture, and I'm using a base texture, which is just, and everything is using the RTX, or not RTX, sorry, but the, you know what I'm saying. It's the textures that they use, that NVIDIA puts out. I can't remember the name of it. It's completely slipped my head right now. But either way, even though I say it's literally right there on the screen, but I can't see it because it's really tiny and not super detailed, I can't read it. But either way, I'm putting down a base grass here, and this base grass, all it is just there to give me some color. And then I go back and I super detail everything else in. Everything gets put down on top of this. And I put down some greener grass around houses. I put down some dead grass around the tracks. And around the roads, because, you know, they spray around the roads too, so I had to go with that detail as well. But I like putting down a base texture first, and then going back, putting down the rest of the grass areas, putting down the mountainsides, going back and super detailing the rest of everything, filling in some blank spots. I just get really into the texturing nowadays. I don't know, it's just one of those things that, I used to not really be crazy about, and you can tell on some of my older stuff. If you go back and you saw bits and pieces of the footage that I found of the old Riverton, as you can tell, some of the texture work and some of the mountain work and everything on that, it was just super, super bad. And I've just been playing around with TRS 19 for the last 9 months, and I've been coming up with different ways to come up with a look and style that I like. And I found this look and style that I like, and everybody's look and style kind of changes every day. I still haven't gotten to putting down things in a quick menu to access them. I don't know. I don't know if it's laziness or just my inability to just remember to do the thing. It's just one of those things that I have my palette already written out or already put down in some areas, and I go back and just start grabbing from those areas. I don't really focus on having a palette next to me the entire time. I don't know. It's just, I'm just really weird about it. But I still get the job done in my perspective, okay? I still enjoy what I create. And we are already halfway through, and I've just been sitting here rambling to you guys, talking to a screen. I don't even know if anybody's hearing me, but hi. If you've been sitting here listening to me ramble the entire time, thank you for being here. I greatly appreciate it. Let me take this time to tell you about our spot. No. One thing that I've been really doing, and I did get another thing with a music company here, which is the music that you hear. I have a license for it. I can use this on both my Twitch channel and YouTube. It's really fun that I can actually use it on both. The song that you heard in the trailer I paid for, just so I could have it, because I really enjoyed that song. There's a little secret and a tidbit to that song. If you guys can figure out, leave a comment down below if you know where I might have originally heard that from. But anyway, back to the video. Well, either way, all I'm doing right now is just texturing. I'm super texturing, and some of these houses and stuff got greener grass. You know, they cut the grass. Everything looks night. See, I keep going back to the city here. This city is Cornettsville. And it's more or less, it acts as a halfway point between the city of Riverton and the city of Little Rock. And if Little Rock is 20 miles from Cornettsville, then I got 20 miles left or more to the city of Riverton, which will be the end point of the most eastern part of the route. And then we start on the western side, where we completely rebuild the Thunderhead Grade, which, oh, that's gonna be fun. Because I have some ideas that's popping in my head. I want to try to take some ideas from some real life aspects, such as what is that, the clinch field. I want to take some ideas from the clinch field and kind of put that into effect for the Thunderhead Grade when we go on the most western part, which is going to be another 40 some odd miles. When I get done with this route, there's going to be at least 80 miles of mainline railroading, about 35 miles of branch line running. See, in this video alone, we made about 7.5 miles of branch line in this video, which is I guess why it's a 45-minute video. But like, and again, I apologize. If you guys leave a comment down below, if you've made it this far, leave a comment down below and let me know. Would you guys like longer videos like this one, or shorter videos than like in 15-minute to 20-minute skits? Because I really wasn't like thinking that. What am I doing? I didn't know where I was going. Like, I just got sucked so into it, and everything that was going through my brain was just like, detail, and like, to those guys that like earlier the night that I recorded this, I played some American Truck Simulator multiplayer, but before that, I was showing some. I was getting the terraforming done, and I got all the terraforming done before I started recording this, because like I said, I'll never do terraforming on camera again, or on a video. I'll probably do it on a stream. That way, if you guys want to ramble with me, then we'll ramble while we are building mountains and stuff. But like, I need to go back and super detail the parking lot for that IGA, because I know I've completely forgot about that. But either way, like I said, when we're said and done, there's going to be a lot of mileage. And the reason that I want a lot of mileage is because the original Riverton, I loved just playing on it. Really wasn't big on doing anything else with it, you know, creatively, because I was really that was when I was starting to really move my creativity to a completely different level, and I was starting to hate the creativity that I'd done to the Riverton. But I still loved just writing on it, right? And the Riverton itself was about 60 miles from no, not even that. It was like 45 altogether. And like, the original Riverton, some pieces of the original Riverton are still in the new one, and such as the city of Little Rock. All that was original, but I've completely redone it. It's still the original base plates, and there's the very first base plate, which is just an industry. That is still on here. I just completely redone it, if that makes sense. And like, there's just a lot of detail in places that, I don't know, like, in this spot right here, when I started laying the base plates, because first I go way down and lay the track, and then I build the terraforming around the track, and then I do the detailing, the super detailing. But like, the area, when I started building the base plates, some trackage started popping up from old base plates that I had deleted from the original Riverton. And it was actually trackage that I know for a fact was at the very end of the original route. So right now, the new route is already as long as the old one, and I'm not even halfway done on the east side. I still have a whole thing left to do, because I still have more ideas that I want to do for the main line going east before we even get to Riverton. So there's just more things to come up with. Like, in some of the screenshots and pictures, like, I'll do a live stream sometime. If this video gets over 50 likes, then I'll do a live stream that I'll also leave a link in the description to my Discord, to the WIT Simulations Discord. If you guys want to try to make that active again, we will. We'll try laying down some assets and stuff. We'll try doing a whole asset book of assets that I use to try to get you guys some inspired some books to some things. If you guys want to hang out with us and play some American Truck Simulator, even though you can only have like 8 people on it, if you have it, you'd be more than welcome to play along with us. It'd be a thing that we do on every other Friday, because the way that my job is set up right now, I work every other Friday. So it's all I got a Friday that I work, I got a Friday that I don't, I got a Friday that I work, I got a Friday that I don't. It's really weird of how it plays, but it's just what I got to do. And I'm still making those whiskey barrels that you guys what drove me to madness with the Conway. But like yeah, we'll try to get the WIT Simulations Discord alive again. We'll try to come up with some ideas of what we can do asset-wise, try to share some ideas with each other, and you guys can get some special live streams and stuff like that. I'm not going to do the whole membership thing. I don't know yet. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not going to do a Patreon, but we might do a whole thing where this channel has, where you can become a member of the channel or something like that, and we'll do special live streams and stuff like that. But it's really all depending, because again, I'm still a Twitch streamer too, and like, I'm not going to be setting out a video every week. I'm not going to be throwing out videos like ham. You guys will probably get a video whenever I can make one. It'd just be one of those things like, all right, I'm feeling up to it. Let's go do it. And I'm not going to completely abandon you guys. We're going to try to get the community back together and try to build our community again. But it's also going to be one of those things like, maybe not every week. It's one of those things, like, I don't want to burn myself out like I did with the Conway, and I really did burn myself out with the Conway, because I was pushing and pushing and pushing so hard, and it really just burnt me out. And for the last, like, 10 minutes, if you guys haven't seen, I've been laying down some JVC splines, because the JVC splines that I'm using, these JVC grass splines, they look so good with the Turf Effects grass, and it just, oh my god. And, also, where I'm using STRM trees, the only season that works with the Riverton is summer. So, all you nerds that like winter, when the root comes out, you guys can make variations of it when it's winter. I'd like to see it. I'm not going to do it myself. And when I'm calling you a nerd, and I myself am also a nerd. I dress up as a rabbit and play VR chat and wrestling streams every weekend. But like, and do WIT simulations on the side. I am the definition of a nerd, but I enjoy myself, and if you guys are enjoying the things that we do, then hell, I guess I'm doing something right, eh? I honestly wasn't expecting to be able to ramble the entirety of this video, but I have sat here and literally rambled. I don't know, it's like I started talking to you guys, and it was like I'm talking to an old friend, and we just had to catch up. So, thank you all that's made it this far, and that's been listening on to my rambles for the last, how long? I've been recording this for 40 minutes now. So that is absolutely insane. Thank you all so much for just being here. And if you guys like the quality that I got now, I've got a whole new setup. Everything's all really, it's superb, and I really can't thank everyone enough for the support that I get over my Twitch channel. And if some of you guys also already support my Twitch channel, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys. But I know a lot of you guys don't, and you guys don't even know what the heck I'm talking about. Like, what? But yeah, I do Twitch. We have fun every Saturday and Sunday, every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 5 in the morning it's really weird because a lot of my fan base that shows up on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings are overseas. But like, it's fun. It's just something that I enjoy doing. And if you guys want to come check it out, you're more than welcome. But that's all I place in this parking lot. And I wanted to place more, but I just said, no, I don't want to do this parking lot right now. I'll come back to this parking lot. See, I'm sitting here messing around with the view radius, because the view radius was kind of being a little wonky with me for a little bit. Like, some trees wasn't popping in when trees are supposed to be popping in. It was just really weird. That huge lake, if you caught a glimpse of it just then, that one was really fun. I came up with the idea for it back in July during mine and my wife's July vacation to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And, like, I came up with the idea for that while we was on our way home, and it took me 3 months to complete that lake. Because I would work on it for a little bit, and then I would just completely lose all focus for it. You know, I was just completely, it was like, nah, not today. And come back to it, work on it for maybe 15 minutes. Not today. And then I finally, I don't know what I watched. I don't know if I watched Distant Signal or, Danny Harmon. Or I don't know if I watched Approach Medium Joe. I don't know if I popped in on him or something. I don't know what I did, but something inspired me to really, alright, I'm really wanting to build some more. And so I did, and I went ham, and I made a whole nother 15 miles in the last 2 weeks. But like, it's not 15 miles, what am I talking about? Like 10, well, yeah, including this branch line, now about 15. So, see, these are the signs I'm talking about. If you guys haven't got them yet, I really do recommend them. If you guys are fans of CSX, go check them out. They're over at rrmods.com. I'll leave a description below, or I'll leave a link in the description below if I can remember. If I don't remember, someone yell at me in the comments down below and tell me to put a link to it that way. Because ever since I got in my crash back in 2018, if you guys remember that, that kind of jarred my brain and everything, ever since I got in that I can't really remember things that I say a lot, and I don't know, it's just one of those things that, and like I said, I can't remember the name of some things. Like, I can remember the names of, like, Turfex and stuff like that, but I can't remember the name of the stupid texture system that it uses now. I don't know, I just could not for the life of me figure out what it was, but it's, I don't know, it's just so glad to be back. I'm happy to be back, and I appreciate you guys for your warm welcome, for all you guys that gave a like to the trailer, that all of you guys that showed up here. If you really did like and enjoy hanging out with me here today, make sure to do the thing, like, comment, subscribe, tell me all about what you guys like about it, and any ideas that you might have for the future. Because remember, this route, when I originally came up with the idea, the names of the towns, the only one that I picked was Riverton. The rest of them were made by my viewers that I had at the time, which is why there's a little town in Kentucky now named Little Rock. It's not Little Rock, Arkansas, Little Rock, Kentucky. It's a little city. It's one of the ones that you saw in the trailer that I completely redone. And you have, well, I named Cornettsville too, but there's other places like Green Tree. There was another one. I think Perry was named by somebody too. But I also need some names for some junctions. So if you guys want to give me some names for some areas, let me know. We'll do when we get back to the main line for like some junctions and stuff. For whenever we get to sightings, some names for sightings and stuff like that. See, there's 2 sightings so far. 3. There's 3 sightings so far from Little Rock to Cornettsville. And then there's like a few mile gap difference in between them. And one of them is Sarah, where the main line becomes 2. And then it ends at one of my favorite builds that I have ever done on this route in particular, is a little place that I like to call Waverly Hill. I kind of named that off of that place in Louisville. Or Louisville, or for the Kentuckians. Or Louisville, or if you guys want to get really technical, Louisville. But whatever. I don't know, it's just one of those things that I just really have fun with. And see, now I'm just going back and finishing the crossings, and I do some things off camera, but we're getting ready to go into cinematics, guys. I can't believe, I wasn't expecting to sit here and ramble to you guys for about 45 minutes. And I think I stayed on topic for most of it. Like, you guys know what's going on the screen. I tell you some things that I do on the screen, and it's just more or less just super detailing. So, like, if you guys wanna hang out, throw some and get the Discord and stuff together, we will do it. I'll throw the Discord link in the description. I'll throw some stuff in the description below as well. Just remind me about the links to the. No, you know what? We'll have a whole asset stuff in the Discord. So, guys, thank you all so much for watching this. Thank you all so much for the warm welcome. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and all that fun stuff if you haven't done so. But I'm going to leave you all to it. Enjoy these cinematics, guys. Until we see each other next time, hail yourselves. And until then, I'll see you on down the line. Bye-bye.